Well, you're awake.
Yeah, man, just rolled out of bed. This is my second wake.
Second wake up?
Yeah, I woke up at 6 and rolled over. I was like, hey, Allie, hey, Hayden, I'm just gonna, head back and get some extra Z's.
And? What do you think?
It got quickly vetoed.
Vetoed?
Yeah, it was a hard veto. There wasn't even like a voter recount. It was, you better get your butt up and make me breakfast.
After taking him to Chattanooga this weekend. Yeah,
I went to Chattanooga this weekend, hung out and played around, and took Hayden climbing and some other little things. I'd never been in like the little climbing gym they have right there downtown that we have probably walked by like 100 times in the last year. It's insane.
Yeah,
it is gigantic. Alan and I used to climb quite a bit when we lived over in East Nashville, and remembers that Climb Nashville on both sides, and it pales in comparison to this gigantic facility.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, it's a whole block.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a city block that's high, and they have like a really cool little kid zone where they can actually like boulder and put on like legit like climbing harnesses and climb and auto belay, and obviously with the help of parents. And if I'm being honest, he wasn't even supposed to be in there, but the kid looks 3, so we passed him off as a 3-year-old. So he was supposed to be 3 year older, but he hung tight. He was fun. He had a good time, and we just did a lot of things all about town, and got back yesterday and got back into the swing of things, and woke up and back to the regularly scheduled programming of cold and rainy and gross winter that we have right now. It's just no thanks.
It's not a great day for me to start my 100 days of running.
No, it's not a good day to start anything. I mean, as we talk about frequently, and Mondays are I would say 99% of all things people start happen on a Monday. Even if they have like a fantastic idea that is on a Tuesday, they're like, I'm just gonna wait till Monday. Just really get back into it. Yeah, we gotta start on Monday. Things only work if we put them on like a 7-day, on like that calendar, like 7-day week. So what's the point? I'm just gonna wait, and then of course like they get to Sunday, they're like, I don't know, not really feeling it.
Well, you can start it Monday afternoon.
Yeah,
rather than Monday morning.
Are you speaking to yourself on that one?
Yeah, except I did. You'll be happy to know that I am not one of those people, because I started yesterday.
Oh,
yeah,
a Sunday start.
Yep.
I think this actually might be popular, because as much as I hate to admit it, it is a lot of people do the old Sunday, and I get it. Okay, it's the legit first day of the week, but can we be honest? It's not.
Sunday?
Yeah, it's not. Nobody ever says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start on Sunday. Nobody ever says that.
Nobody says that, but like
nobody says or does any of that. Nobody does. But hey, we are starting this week on a Monday. Episode 216?
Damn. Now you're getting ahead of yourself.
I knew I was somewhere on there. Episode 215.
215.
15 of the Crushing Iron Triathlon podcast. We will be in between this episode today, 215, and Thursday is 216. Will be our 2-year anniversary. And boy, have we learned a lot.
Yes, we have.
I'm not sure if we've changed anything, but we've learned a lot. And we appreciate you joining us the last 2 years, and it's pretty cool to think about just how things have morphed and grown just organically the last 2 years, from what we were doing and where we were and the people that we didn't know, and now the people that we call friends and that have stayed in our homes and met at races and shared meals with and seen at races and cheered at races and raced with. And it's very, very cool to look back on the last 2 years from what is very, very, very humble beginnings. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. But I think it'd be cool if you're listening, you've been listening to podcasts for a long time, or you've even listened to the episodes. There's a lot of we call podcast OGs in the closed Crushing Iron group on Facebook. Would love to hear some of your favorite podcast stories or theories or rants or whatever, or moments on the in our Crushing Iron Facebook group this week. It would just kind of little walk down memory lane, and we'll enjoy it this week, and then we'll get back and move on to year 3 of the podcast.
Walk down memory lane. A little reflection time in the closed
down
Facebook group. If you're not in the closed Facebook group, search Crushing Iron Group, and we'll let you in there. Please, we ask a question about the podcast. We like it when people say, you guys are funny or something. It's an easy answer.
You guys are funny or something.
I mean, it's easy just to leave it blank is kind of a bummer. But, yeah. So, and I'd also, I'd like to thank, we've learned a lot about each other, the partnership that we have. I want to thank you for being flexible and, making this podcast partnership work.
Hey, I appreciate you teaching me flexibility.
Yeah.
I've had to let loose of some of my rigidness, which has been good. It's been, I'm going to tell you this. You've in a lot of ways, you trained me to have a toddler. Because my time frame has gone totally out the window. Like, no matter what I want on what time frame, it's not going to happen. You kind of have to have if we want to leave at 5 o'clock, we need to start leaving at 4:30, because we ain't gonna leave on time, because they rule your world and they make decisions for themselves, and you basically spin around their orbit. And a long time ago, in the last 3-4 years, you've taught me of patience and flexibility with punctuality, and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Which is, one of my favorite texts of all time. I'm obviously not there yet. On my way. Yeah, this is true, but no, it's been really fun. It's been a fun thing for us to do, and again, it's just we've met so many really, really awesome people, and hope to meet a lot more if we haven't met you, and hopefully we'll meet you at this year's coming races. We've had a lot of questions, I think, about lately what our team races are for 2019. And I'll recap those quick. Our main team races are Chattanooga 70.3 will be there. That's in May. That's kind of a staple of ours. We love that race. And if you've never done it, I highly, highly suggest it. It's a wonderful race. They do a wonderful job putting it on, and the city is spectacular. Not just the city in general, but we always give an A+ rating for the most part to a city where you can pull in on a Thursday or a Friday, park your car, and never get back in it until Monday. Those walkable cities and walkable race sites are always going, I think, in my opinion, are always going to succeed. Because people love just the ease of logistics, and I got to admit, it had me. We had a few athletes do Waco 70.3, and they gave that same feedback.
Yeah.
It is a walkable city in terms of parking your car on Thursday or Friday, and not getting back into it until it was ready to leave. That's a huge bonus, I think, especially for people who have kids. And other people who come to spectate. It just really makes the whole process easier. I know it fits right into your wheelhouse. Even a person with no spouse and no kid, you have a very strict and stringent point. If it's not walkable, you're not going, or you're gonna not be happy that we are going once we pull in. And I'm right there with you. I don't like getting in my car and going places either, for the most part. But
I like the downtown vibe of races too. Personally.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's a perfect location because it's a great downtown, but it's not like an overpopulated, crazy downtown.
Right.
Like, you really don't feel like it's the downtown busyness, but it's just a great city. So we'll do that one in May. We're doing Try Louisville, which is an above the fold event that we really like. They do a great job. That's in early June, and then our big race of the year, our Ironman race of the year, will be Ironman Wisconsin, and that's in September. That's always been a big race of ours. It was the first race you and I worked together on. A long time ago, about 5 years ago, and we both love the city. And again, it fits the bill if you want it to. I think we've answered this a few times. We've had a lot of people say, "Where's the best place to stay?" You and I are huge fans of that Best Western Inn on the Park. Is it?
Yeah, Premier.
There's two Best Westerns right there that are, I would say, walkable within a mile. The one that we stayed at, I think, was Best Western Inn on the Park.
Man, we are not holding back anything. See, that's what we don't do. We don't hold back on this podcast. We're just basically giving away our hotel.
Yeah, but yeah, they're booked.
They are.
It's, thanks for ruining it for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are. I just looked it up.
Yeah. Good recovery. No, it's that is. I mean, you're obviously you're going to pay a little bit more no matter what.
Yeah,
to stay in town. It's the same thing in Chattanooga. Unless you are on our team and you get a fat discount from the Holiday Inn. It's worth it. It's worth it to stay downtown at those races, and I think athletes that do these races, and I get it. Everybody has a budget, and you want to find a way to like save a little bit of cash here and there because it is expensive. You got to remember that these are so much, especially if it's your first time. These are so much about the total experience from the day you park your car till the day you leave. It is about the whole experience because, let's be honest, athletes don't hesitate to give you a good, solid review and feedback on as soon as their toe hits the ground to the time they pull out of the city, about how things go. And that's why it's one of our favorite races, and it's a great city, and that's got a great downtown feel as well, right there on the water, which is very cool. It's great. So that's our other big race of the year. And who knows what we'll do for 2020.
It's simple in Madison. Just look for a hotel close to the Capitol as you can get.
Yeah, I mean it's worth it. Again, you're gonna spend more money, but I promise you, it's worth it. Everything is walkable, and it's a really, really great. It's a great, very cool city to be around. So,
speaking of our anniversary, if you'd like to help us get to anniversary number 3, you can go to patreon.com/crushingiron, and we have a couple donation tiers up there per month, $3.26 per month or $13.26 per month, and it really helps us with podcast expenses and all the other stuff that goes with it, time and motivation, and you have it.
Motivation. Time, motivation, consistency, and all the hopefully great free advice that we give all the time
about hotels. Hey, listen, is Arizona's next weekend?
Arizona and Cozumel are this weekend.
This coming weekend, yeah.
This Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I mean they didn't just happen, is what I was.
Oh no.
So I went to the website. Is Arizona still a mass swim start?
No.
It's not, because, man, that front picture they have on there really looks like it is.
Sales.
Man.
Sales 101.
I thought that was...
But no. It is, but if you're honest, I mean, they could still do that same shot at Wisconsin, too.
I don't know.
So here's what happens. I did Arizona in 2011, I think. I love the race. I really do want to go back at some point. But the way that they do it is you get in the water. It's still, in my opinion, kind of a mass start. And the closest thing you're probably going to have, because if you look on, if you go to IronmanArizona.com, the first thing you're going to see is their big, the big swim with everybody in the water. But what they have is, so you get in the water, and then there are these 2 bridges that you have to go under before so you have to swim your way to the start, the way that the course is designed. So it really is, in my opinion, kind of still a mass start, because even the way they used to do it, so remember when I did it and got in, you get in the water and it's a little bit chilly usually. You have to swim your way up about 200 yards from what I remember under these bridges to get to the start. And so athletes could, I mean, I know when I started, if you look back, there were still athletes on land because they just didn't want to get in with the whole mass and get swam over and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably one of the best venues for these rolling starts because it's still a mass start in general. They just kind of herd you into the water like cattle, really the way people would have herded themselves anyway if it was a mass start. It's also cool in that I think it's one of Madison's this way too. No, I guess it's not anymore. Where you can actually get in the water and get kind of a warm up in. So I don't know if they've changed the timing, mat now, because if it's a rolling start, I imagine like the timing mat's just going to start when you get in the water. So I don't know if they may have actually changed the course. I don't really know that. From when you walk off the stairs, because usually in the past, obviously when it was a mass start, it was just gun time. So I'm not sure how they do it, but it's a good one.
Mm. Okay. Is Chuck doing Cozumel?
No, Chuck's done for the year, thank God. Yeah, he's got his 3 Ironman, and we've got 4 athletes at Arizona, and then we'll have 1 in Cozumel. So it's a good weekend. It's like the last big weekend for North America events. They have like another 70.3 in California there at the beginning of December. But it's kind of Arizona and Cozumel, or even though Cozumel is not really considered the U.S. event, it's the North American calendar. But that's like the last end of the year event. And then it's Thanksgiving. Time for people to recharge and enjoy family time and a little bit extra turkey and dressing. And, I hope people that listen to this podcast understand the importance of Thanksgiving and that you should be waiting until you get up all of your Christmas decorations because it's just blasphemous. Enjoy Thanksgiving. It is by far the greatest of all holidays. Christmas couldn't be any more overrated, in my opinion. Hey, I mean, let's be honest. Hey, let's go max out our credit cards and then force people to work when they should be, visiting with their families, while we all go out and buy things on Black Friday at 2:00 in the morning that we really don't need.
That sounds like sweet. The Iron Man model.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Force your family to hang out while you're going to buy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you always have this conversation. Like, so should we get Aunt Joan a gift? And you're like, I don't even like Aunt Joan. But why do we have to give her a gift? So you get people stuff that you don't even really like, even if they're in your family. You're like, she's gonna get us something, so we got to get her something. So basically, you just exchange like $20 gift cards to Target when you just be better off like not getting each other anything. And then you spend like all this money on things that people just don't need. Like, we got, does Hayden need anything? He needs absolutely really nothing. He has more toys than he can possibly imagine. We don't even give him any, but when you got grandparents, toys just show up.
Yeah.
At your front door. Like, what, babe, what'd you order from Amazon? I didn't order anything. Open it up. It's like, a remote control car the size of my Kia. And you're like, oh, great, thanks. But what are you going to do? But that's it's just Thanksgiving, it's family, it's food, it's no stress of like, what are you going to get so-and-so, what are you going to get so-and-so, how much do I spend, is that too much, is that too little? I want to spend too little because I look cheap, but so I'll just kind of go a little bit overboard, or I'll just make it look expensive and like get my thumb out and like scratch off the price tag so I don't know, and then it will know how expensive it is, and then I'll just give it to them in a nice little gift box, and it cost me $19, but it looks like $99, so I overdid it. And then what if they didn't get you anything? Now where you find yourself? Oh, hey, yeah, I got you something. Oh, here's your card with $50 in it. Thanks, appreciate it, Grandma. That's the kind of it's like I remember one year I had like this is how but that's how it is. That's how disconnected so many people are with their family. Like we don't choose our family; you just kind of have them. But I remember like my dad's mom, I had my head shaved for like 10 or 12 years. And I hadn't like really seen her in like 2 years, but my head had been shaved the whole time. You know what she got me for Christmas?
What?
She got me a hair dryer. I was like, thanks, JoJo. Appreciate the hair dryer, but as you can see, I'm not going to be using it. But it's just like it's just things like that. And it's just so much stress about going things. And you got to go out and to the mall or to these stores, and you got to sit in line and you just buy things and buy things and buy things, and people end up having to pay off credit cards and all that. So it's just so much. It's just so much going on with it, and then you got people that they wear sweaters and turtlenecks with weird things on them, and it's just like that's just. Allie and I have an understanding. And we can get off. We can get off Christmas here in a minute. I'll stop. I feel like I'm on like a Seinfeld episode right now.
It is our anniversary, so we can.
It is our anniversary, but like, she knows that I will never, ever in my entire life wear a sweater. Period. End of story. I don't own a sweater. I'm anti-sweater, and dear God, am I anti-sweater vests. Those are like my top two. Never will ever own in my life. Turtleneck is right there, like the third. Who wants to wear a turtleneck? If I wanted to like grow a neck beard, I would grow one. But I don't. I shave my neck on purpose because I don't like the scratchy, woolly feel. So why would I wear a turtleneck? I just find it odd. Do you own a turtleneck?
No.
No, I didn't think you did.
I did.
I'm sure you did at some point.
In college, when I was acting intellectual.
Yeah, but I think back then that was like that's all you guys had for warmth was like a turtleneck.
In Wisconsin, you kind of got to go.
You gotta like cover the neck. I get it, but it's just like, hey babe, what are we wearing tonight? We're gonna go out to eat. Yeah, I'm gonna throw on my Navy turtleneck. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and snort 4 Benadryl so you don't break out in hives for like an hour and a half after you put it.
Hey, listen, how do you really feel about Christmas?
So, in case you didn't all understand it, Thanksgiving is the greatest. But no, we will move on. I've got plenty of topics we can cover today outside of my... listen, I'm not anti-Christmas. It's just way, way down on the list for me.
It's very American, man.
Thanksgiving is superior. Football, family, fun, food, no stress.
Football, man. Your Dolphins took one on the chin yesterday to my Packers.
The Dolphins always take one on the chin.
I thought this was their year.
We never have a year. Sean Sanford texted me yesterday because I swear I have like athletes that are friends of mine that watch more Dolphins game than I do. And I just don't. I couldn't even. Honestly, and I promise we'll get to triathlon stuff here in a minute or life stuff, but. I didn't even watch a single snap of the Tennessee beat down on Kentucky this weekend. And we have a ton of athletes that we work with that live in Kentucky, even though they had already had a really rough week because they got beat down like 7th graders from Duke. And I couldn't even talk smack to them about the Tennessee UK thing because I didn't watch a single snap.
Mm.
We were just busy doing other things, but Sean Sanford sent me a text and he said, if your Finns could just get in the end zone, that would be great. He's a Vikings fan, so he was obviously pulling for the Dolphins. And I said, yeah, that's the story of the last 15 years. We just can't get in the end zone. We're just terrible. But yeah, honestly, I don't even really care.
Sports is weird to me anyway anymore.
Well, it's weird to you because you don't have anything to it positive and with momentum to attach yourself to because your Badgers just lost at Penn State.
Yeah, they. I seriously, I watched the first quarter, and I just turned it off again. I was like, "What are they doing? This is like, our coach has turned into a fuddy-duddy." I liked his conservative angles before, but man, he is just really. He's not leaving his comfort zone at all.
Yeah, well, but hey.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, but hey.
So it's just you and I talking now. I don't think anybody's even listening anymore.
But whatever. Yeah, we hope you're still listening. But yeah, I've got 2 topics I think that we could riff on unless you have something that you have a burning desire.
Nah, I was just the only thing that's going on with me is that run and
tell me about this little thing you got going on here.
Huh? Well, no, our casts, the last couple casts of ours have kind of got me a little bit inspired to, I always go back to, it always goes back to my run. And what you're talking about, I was also listening to the cast about getting faster, and trying to pull out some sound bites from that, and the reality of if you're not going to get faster if you don't run a lot. And so I started thinking about that again. I started thinking about my 10:17. I went out for a 10:17 yesterday, and I really liked it. I mean, it was just the manageable, slow run, and there's something really nice about not being sore after you run, especially having been doing it for a while, and the idea of kind of manageably getting back into running and really putting on some miles over the next few months sounds exciting to me.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of it.
To do it.
Yeah, and if you can, and that's the big part about my 10:17 is it's always been more enjoyable to run like that. So I'm not technically too worried about my speed, and not right now for sure. And if I can just build up my strength and my stamina on the run, that's good enough. I think speed will come to it.
There's some speed will come with it, and your body will then also be prepared to enter a phase where speed can come the priority, and you can do it in a way to where you have minimized the risks by creating a body that's durable enough to withstand not just one speed training session, but weeks and weeks and weeks of speed focus, which is the part that a lot of athletes tend to struggle with, is the one-off speed session, versus if you want to see the best results, you have to stick with the program. You can't just change things whenever you want to because you just aren't feeling it, and because you're distracted, or because you're impatient, or because you think you have to control everything. You have to be able to do it repeatedly to see a expected or desired result, to see how you progress throughout the a specific training block or a cycle, or what your focus is.
Yep. We'll get to your topics here in a second.
Oh, well, thanks. In case you guys didn't know, he is the boss.
I am the color man. I think I'm more of a play-by-play than color, actually.
Yeah, you are.
But anyway, we got some nice people coming into our club membership, which is now available.
We do. We have a great little starter group that's growing by the day. If you want more information on that, you can hop on the website and check out. You can go to crushingiron.com and check out our club membership and all of its offerings and benefits and perks.
There's a club tab.
Yeah, there's a club tab, and it should answer also your frequently asked questions and desires.
Yeah. What do you got, Betty? What do you got, man?
Well, I think I wanted to, I say I want to go two directions, but we know it's only going to go one, and that's just how it ends up. But I wanted to cover what I think is the biggest reason for athletes, either, I don't want to say repeated failures, but impediments to success, and the reason why so many athletes find themselves in their own minds concreted into not mediocrity, but just simply staying the same. And we had one of our newer members and platinum Facebook poster nominee, Leighton Main, who is a 5-star premium poster as of right now. And he just mentioned something about having a lower calf strain, and went to see a PT for a week, and is already asking for a bunch of things to do extra. Of course, you're going to get a million different suggestions, and it's recovery and injury. It's an important one that people talk about all the time, and it's important to obviously recover and stay focused. But the biggest thing, and this also translates to training, and we've talked about this and kind of touched on in quite a few podcasts recently, is about how people just want to get faster. And we don't have the ability, or we do have the ability. We don't have the patience and self-control and trust to just stick with the program. And I'm going to go back and forth on two different things here, but I said you can't control recovery or its timeline. You can promote it and encourage it by doing the right things. But your body doesn't care about your brain's timeline. It cares only about itself. And so many athletes, and this was an email I got from another athlete, just as kind of like going back and forth on some different things about training and the process and the journey and all kinds of things. And like in type A athletes and athletes that tend to gravitate towards the sport are such control freaks. They want to control everything. I have to have numbers. I have to have data. I have to execute. I have to hit the numbers. I have to know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I got to have 80 cadence with 185 watts and a heart rate of 135 for a 20-minute warm-up. Okay, and I got to rest a minute, and that recovery minute, I got to do 120 watts at 120 heart rate, and the cadence is 78. Okay, got it. And so they're like obsessed with control, and then our desire and addiction to the wow, what's a good word to say here? Like the how we're drawn to the illusion of control is not only is it just totally obsessive, but also naive. It causes us to function in a way of basically never actually figuring out what we truly want to get to or do, because we change things up because we want to control it differently. So it's kind of a yin and yang thing. I want to do this on this date this way. And then when things don't happen, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to control it again. I'm either not going to do it or I'm going to do something different instead of just allowing it to be. And I think that is one of the biggest struggles that we have when it comes to recovering from injury. We always want to recover faster. So we go to the PT or we go to our physio and they're like, all right, you can do this, and this, you know, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll go from there. Well, after 2 weeks, like, I'm just not seeing any progress. You know, so let me go get some dry needling and a massage and to start doing some calf raises and go to the chiropractor and this, and then you come back and your PT is like, what the hell did you do, man? Like, I don't even know if what we're doing is working because you keep changing things. And people do the same thing on a training aspect too, and it's one of the most frustrating aspects for coaches is athletes want to see finite achievement or success or progress within such small periods of time based on what society has driven us to believe that you can do the 7-minute workout or the hack or the things and see instant results in like 2 weeks. So our brain is wired in a way to see and want and desire instant gratification. So what happens when we don't see that or don't feel that, regardless of what our body is actually doing and turning into over a period of time, is we control it and change things to go in a different direction. So instead of sticking with a process or a training cycle or a set schedule that's supposed to give us a roadmap to where we want to go, we will never find out if it was the best route. Because after 2 miles, we were like, you know what? It might be a little slower than I want it to be, quote unquote, or I'm not going to get there fast enough, quote unquote. So you deviate. You take, you know what? I'm going to get off this exit and take a little detour. We've all done that.
Yeah, that's a man thing.
It's a total man thing. Yeah, but I bet you I can cut 2 minutes by taking, Huckleberry Road, the connector to Highway 57, cut over behind that gas station, and I'll probably merge right out back in the interstate, and we'll save 28 minutes. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're like,
apologizing.
Exactly. You're apologizing profusely to your wife who needs to go to the bathroom, but you put us in a part of town where there's like no gas station for 48 miles. And you're like, yeah, about that. But, and so you never know. I mean, you already know you effed up because your wife's pissed, but you never really know if what happened was going to happen. But you always have this like control thing. I can always do it better. And going back to like, that's for an injury. And getting better, but there is a gigantic benefit to making a plan, sticking with the plan, seeing where it gets you, and then if it gets you good results, good. Then we maybe tweak it a little bit, or maybe we just don't. Maybe we just don't touch it. Maybe we just continue to move forward. But what happens is, and again, I go back to like why it can be a frustrating thing for coaches is like you lay out a plan, and you have X, Y, and Z to do, and then athletes either go over on time or under on time, or they rearrange all the workouts. There's always going to be reasons why workouts need to be arranged, but if it's constant, going over workouts, going harder on workouts, you're never going to have a roadmap to work our way backwards. Same can go for injury and recovery and rehabilitation, because it's all your body. And so you set out a roadmap for training, and then after a month, you're like, I just don't see the results, man. I just don't see that it's working. Dude, you gave it 4 weeks. Who do you think you are? But we do this, and we're like, I'm going to change things differently. Forget this run block. I'm going to go in a cycling block. Then after 4 weeks, you're like, my power numbers aren't jumping up. Maybe I ought to go in a swim block. Or maybe I ought to cut swims or add swims. Maybe I should add strength training. Maybe I should add yoga. Maybe I should add CrossFit. Maybe I should go back and get like a different size crank. Maybe I should get a new bike fit. I don't know if it's a bike fit. Maybe I think it might be new shoes. Maybe I should do more hills. And I don't know if it's hills. Maybe I should go, do some like just do it, because all you're doing now is you're just shooting training bullets in a million different directions. But if you stick to any kind of a plan and just let it formulate, and just let your body and the training process the things together, then let's say it doesn't work out, at least you can drive the route backwards to the beginning and look and see where you might want to next time deviate and do differently. Just stop making so many daggum turns. Hop on the training highway and just go. Instead of, maybe I should stop here, maybe I should turn off here or do this. Because if you don't, you can at least work your way backwards and make better, educated, calculated, and the most important part, you can go back and understand this is repeatable, and I can go back and see X, Y, and Z. Instead of, all right, well, I had 8 hours on the plan, but I ended up doing 12, and I ended up running harder than I should be. So now I got the race, like, wasn't ready. So was it the training? Was it a bad day? I don't know what it was. So you just end up guessing. You just guess your way through training, and you're never satisfied because you want to control every aspect of your improvement. And that's the way that we live. We live things on paper. Mm-hmm. We live things on a timeline that we just make up. Yeah. And I think I said this, and I'll get off my tangent here, but I had an athlete that was kind of going back and forth with this, and we had a lot of agreements on so many things. And I said, but thank God we don't live on paper. All you have to do is want to get better. We will get there slowly and surely, but it's also on life's timeline, not ours. We just need to commit to acknowledging that, and then more importantly, being okay with it. Being okay with it. Success will show itself each day. Success just doesn't arrive. And that's all we want. We want every day to show that we are successful with a goal or something every day, and has to arrive each day, instead of just determining and being persistent and committed to just being successful each day, not showing success.
Mm-hmm. All jokes aside, on my 10-17 running, it was very difficult for me to create a plan. Now, let me just explain it to you again, because some people probably don't know it. But basically, it's a forced pattern for me to go out and run slow in zone 2, and I created this thing where if I ever looked at my watch and I was running faster than a 10-minute pace, which is about the zone 2 level for me, I would start walking. So what would happen was over time, I created a success to the slowness, to the patience. So, like, it became a little bit of a game where if, I would try to get, maybe as close as I could to 10-minute pace overall or something like that. But I just think that because we need, like you're saying, you create a success story, and if you're not, it's very hard to go out and do like a workout that doesn't really have any shine to it, or it's just kind of a grinder, or whatever the case may be, and we need sort of to stimulate our brain a lot of times. And I wonder if the reason people change all the time is because they're losing steam in certain areas, or like certain things that just like don't excite them, or whatever the case may be, or they become hard and it's too much of a grind, or you know what I mean. So like they're just, I mean, I say this from personal experience because I do this all the time, and we had a podcast about hacks, and the problem with hacks and stuff like that is that you can get false positives, or whatever you want to call them, and because you've shifted gears, and your mind is all of a sudden, this new pattern, this is the way to do it, and all of a sudden things are going well, and it lasts for about 2 days, and it's just very difficult, I think, to train, with using a metaphor of like a train, just long, slow, consistent kind of, and you're going to get there as fast as it's definitely the rabbit hare thing. It's like I just see us having this tendency, not you, but like just in general, triathletes having this tendency to want to bounce around so much because it can be a grind. And it's like, man, it's really hard to think about what you're doing right now in terms of like how it's going to benefit you next September. But it does, man. You know, it does. And if the consistency thing that we talk about all the time, that's really at the core of it, is just going out and being consistent. You don't have to be a world beater every day. It's just do the little things all the time. And I could see how that would be, as a coach, a frustrating element, because you're looking at the whole picture, and everybody's like trying to, repaint the house every 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen too. Like, and I'm not talking about like moving a workout here and there, because that just a lot of times has to happen for the product to get finished. And there's also like, there's different, like every athlete is different in what they want to achieve and how they want to achieve it, and then the level in which they want to achieve it. Some athletes are totally 100% performance driven. They don't ever move workouts. They do them as they are. They are on autopilot, and they just go, and they have one specific way to do things for themselves and what they want to achieve, how they want to get there, and that's in a performance aspect as it relates to their racing and their competition. They have other athletes who are at just their mindset isn't necessarily different. It's just more energized and directed in a different manner. Theirs is more also getting into better shape, enjoying things, doing things. So a great example is some athletes will always do what's on their schedule no matter what, and have no interest in doing group runs or group rides or this and this if they think or even like want to debate if it's going to interfere with the structured training that they have provided. They like that structure. Some athletes are willing, and it's totally okay to want to give in to more. Well, it might not be the best workout for me athletically or performance related to the schedule that we're on the timeline and the training block, but to me, it'll be more fun, and I'll enjoy it and love it more if I can go do this group run, or I can go do this group ride, or I can go do this, Peloton trainer ride, or or anything, and so there's just always going to be this back and forth between and listen, like those things are okay, and even like doing those once a week or twice a week, especially this time of year, just have at it. Whatever keeps you moving and keeps you having fun, go for it. Mm-hmm. And so you're always going to have different and that's where like reading the athlete and reading their objectives and their goals and what they really truly want to achieve, and how all those things blend together. Some athletes are like to do isolated training. Some always want to be with the group. And so there's just that really, really tough like give and take between, you know, and that's so many times one of the other biggest struggles with I think that coaches have is you always have to remind yourself as a coach, no matter what I see in training, no matter what I see as your possible athletic, ceiling or ability, or what I see in training. Like if I just take away you, the athlete, and your face and your story and your personality and your life, and all I see is numbers, and all I see is your, just data and your athlete life cycle. I can see in my brain this athlete could definitely achieve X, Y, and Z after a specific time period. Given no injuries and no crazy like life obstacles, you that's just how your brain works as a coach. Like you're wired to think that way. You're wired to think 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year, 2, 3 years down the road, because that's how you need to see things. That's how you need to plan. That's how you need to formulate training blocks and training cycles. That's how you work. But at the same time, that for so many athletes doesn't take the front seat. Coaches have to either put themselves in one of two places. And I think this is where it's confusing sometimes when people get a coach, is that coaches should never be in the driver's seat. Coaches don't drive the car. The athlete drives the car. You sit in the passenger side. For some athletes, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here. Keep going. You're doing great. Just keep doing the work. Keep on doing it. Oh yeah, that was good. Talk about other things in life. For some athletes, you belong in the back seat. Because these athletes, while you might see their ability to achieve X, Y, and Z based on the numbers they're putting out, their athlete timeline, the time they have available, their commitment level, so you spit out these numbers and these trajectories and projections for what I think and can see they could be able to do. But guess what? None of that matters. Because while you might think that, you should never coach an athlete as a coach's first projection. It's not about what the coach wants for the athlete. Ever. It's what does the athlete want for themselves, and how can I complement that to get them to that, to achieve that the way that they want to achieve it. Like my drive and my want for athletes is for them to be successful. And so you might have a set of twin athletes. You got Tim and you got Todd. Tim is totally performance driven. Because let's remind ourselves, they're twins. So they got mostly like the exact same, genetics and DNA, all this kind of thing. So all things being equal. But you got Tim, who likes to train alone, is a numbers-driven guy, is driven, success. And his definition of success is, I want to podium at this race, and I got to qualify for world championships, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. That's what I want to train. That's my focus. How do we get there? Boom. You are in the passenger seat with them. You're talking to them. You're going over things with them. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's more of you're more of that, let's go this route. Let's lead them in this way, prevent them from making wrong turns. But then you have the other one. I think I used Tim as the first example. So then you got Todd. Mm-hmm. Todd wants to be successful too, but Todd is a huge extrovert. Todd wants to have fun. Todd wants to be around people. Todd doesn't want to be on his trainer as much as you want him to be to get, specific workouts in. He wants to go on the group ride. He wants to go be with his buddies. He wants to do 2 group runs a week. He wants to do 2 group rides a week. He wants to swim with the group. But he wants you to guide his path and his direction because he just wants to have fun. He wants to succeed in being healthy, getting a little bit better and having fun. Okay, you sit in the back. Let them control the music for the most part, unless it's like, really, really, like Daughtry or something. Then you gotta get up there and change the music. But you let them control the music. You let them, for the most part, control the direction of the car. But then every once in a while, you kind of lean up and you're like, hey, let's not make this decision. Okay. And so your training, like as a coach, your personality in coaching them has to be totally different. Like the mentality and the mental and emotional approach to that athlete, and from like a structure of the workouts, has to be totally different. Because they're two totally different personality types. I can't say, hey man, you can't do this group workout. You've got to do these intervals. These intervals are your lifeline to triathlon success. So you can't do it. So you're not. So while you may be being, that's what makes some coaches selfish. They're more results. They're more results driven by what it says about them than their athletes' happiness and what they want for themselves. So you always got to ask, like, what does the athlete really want for themselves? Because nobody gives a shit what it matters to me.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
What do I want for you? It doesn't matter. Like, what do you want for you? I want to have fun. I want to be healthy. I want to set example for my kids. I want to get better and better shape. All right, let's roll. And I will do my very best to help guide you down that path. But it's a totally different conversation than Tim, who it's metrics and numbers and where do I have to be in order to be able to compete at the top end of pointy eater spectrum. You just tell me what to do. I'm going on a cruise, but I want workouts every day. So you just have to be able to read and analyze and just connect with them on a different scale, and make sure you're always doing what's best for the athlete, because what you want for them, like results based, means nothing. Like as a coach, all you should want for your athletes is for them to be happy and healthy and to succeed, because success looks different for everybody.
It does, man. That's but I think a lot of people have a hard time figuring out what they want. Do you?
I think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people do. To be honest, I think the underlying. I think this goes back to like the why that we had, like the short little blip commercial that I had about the why last podcast was like. Sometimes we question our why because we see other people's why.
Well, yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. It's just the confusion.
We tend to and so we tend to.
It's easy to get off that.
Yeah, it's like, well, why? And then like, well, maybe I should try to qualify for Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that should be my goal. Like, what if I need bigger goals? Like, but if they don't mean anything to you, then they're not. Then they're just like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like going to buy a pair of shoes because Jane bought one too. You just bought one because you thought you had to have one because she did. So now they're going to wear them once and then you're going to put them in your closet again.
It's a Strava effect, right?
Right. It's for some reason. In some way, it is a lot like that. And so it's just that's like there's this really like people always talk about as triathlon like as a selfish sport. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you. But so oftentimes people get so lost and it no longer becomes about them. It becomes more of a projection on what they see everybody else wanting. Or maybe I should want that too. Oh man, they got that. You know what? I need that too. Or I should do that too. Or they're doing this race. I got to do it too. And it just you become so much more, and this is just how life works. You become what you see and what's desired and what seems like it's appropriate, versus truly asking yourself, like, dude, why do I even like want this? Like, or do I really want it, or do I just feel like I need it or need to do it? And so I think athletes, like, they should just always go back to why did I start doing this in the first place?
Right.
You know, and is that something that I really want? And if it's not, guess what? That's okay. Like, you don't have to you don't have to want to qualify for Kona or the World Championships or win your age group or podium to be in the sport of triathlon. That doesn't have to be your prerogative or your goal or why you do it. Or it can be the seeing, you know, Kona on TV and getting inspired. Like, that can be a reason why you got into the sport. But guess what? I bet you when you watched it, the part that was inspiring wasn't the crazy, insane professionals that went like in the 8-hour range, because you weren't like, oh, dude, I can do that. You know, like, that wasn't inspiring. It was like the people that came in later out throughout the day that you saw, and you're like, oh, dude, I can do that.
That's
or maybe I can do that. That's where you get inspired. And so we lose that inspiration about, because what lights your fire doesn't necessarily light my fire. So if let's say, you know, you light your fire, your personal fire with X, and I light my internal fire with Y, but I just keep looking at you and looking at you and looking at you about how you light your fire. I'm like, oh man, maybe I try to light mine that way. And you keep lighting it and trying to light it and trying to light it and trying to light it, and nothing ever burns. And you wonder why you feel lost, and that's why.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, the winner of Kona is definitely inspiring in a different sort of way, and I always like, as I used to talk about, I'm kind of a hack drummer. I used to go watch bands, and if I saw a really great drummer, I'd be like, man, that's inspiring. I love to think that that's possible, and, you know, that sort of thing. And then if I saw a really bad drummer, I'd be like, man, I could have been up there, you know, I could be a band or whatever. And I think that there's all that middle ground, right, between that terrible drummer and that really great drummer, and how we navigate that space and to what heights we can go is always a little bit of a mystery. And sometimes we get confused by the thought that we can be that Kona, not really, but in a way it's sort of like, well, why can't I do it? You know, once you have those moments in training, it's like sometimes I get this, I'm not for that, but like, you know, to maybe win my age group or something like that. Some of these guys are like, why can't I be that person? And, well, you know, the reason is because it's hard.
Right.
You know, and you can't just think your way there. I mean, although that helps, I do think that the mental aspect of this sport is probably the most underrated part of it, on some levels. But, yeah, you have to go through that continuum from being like just somebody that's just starting and wants to change their lifestyle to becoming sort of in that elite class is like a major chasm. And so, you know, it can be done. You know, it's just like you can be Steve Jobs, but man, the odds of that are really slim. So is it make sense to continually beat yourself up in that way to the point where like I should be better. I don't know. I mean, it's a you know, I've wallowed in those waters, and it's a tough way to exist, you know. I think that more so like what you were saying earlier about just staying on a path and creating a roadmap and staying with it. It's like you're more apt to like do that and one day look up and sort of just be in that category than you are trying to make it happen in a few weeks or a month and then changing your direction and being all over the place. I think that's the difference between elite athletes in this sport and people that want to be elite athletes, is that people that are elite are sticking with it and going after it, and there's no excuses whatsoever. And there's no major changes in what they're doing. They know they're on the path. It just takes time, and it's like just you know, one brick at a time, if I may quote your old coach.
It's but man, like that's why, you know, we've been doing this for 2 years. This is such a difficult sport to continue to try to figure out. You know, and we go through cycles and emotional highs and lows and our why changes, and our motivation changes, and our energy changes, and our focus changes from every single different avenue and angle of the spectrum, and it's always going to be changing. And it's just that constant. It's like go back to like the control thing we started with, is that we always want to control things, but the only thing that controls our life is that everything changes all the time, and the only part we have control over is control of how we react to it and how we deal with it, and doing that to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years. We used to talk about this a lot in the beginning of our podcasting days. It was like this whole quest for how do you get a bigger audience and how do we get to the top of iTunes and blah, blah, blah. And we just decided at some point, I don't know if it was almost unconscious or subconsciously or whatever, we just decided that we're going to put this out there every Monday and Thursday and just keep showing up. And, it's delivered. We're, sometimes we, come to the table and, it crumbles, and other times it really hits. And it's sort of like workouts in that way, where you might have a good workout and then you get fired up, and the next time you're like, man, what happened to me? And then, but I mean, that's the one thing is that, for 2 years now, twice a week, we've done these podcasts, and, it just sort of is what it is. But I know that, in the long run, they've gotten a heck of a lot better, and a lot of people enjoy them, and that's really kind of what we, came to the table for, and hopefully helped a lot of people, and I think we have.
and that is all right with me.
Yeah, and it's good for us, and we enjoy them. So there you go. Join the club.
Join the club, literally. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. If you made it that far through the Christmas and the football talk, we hope you got something out of it. Go with the flow. Make sure to have fun. Stay healthy. Stay happy. And good things will follow.
Leave your comfort zone.
That's it. Or stay in it.
Or stay in it, yeah. I mean,
stay in it.
God, it's so tricky.
Isn't it? I know. That's why we do it, though. Yep. That's why we do it. So
crushingiron.com.
Yeah, crushingiron.com. Visit us, hang out with us, say hi. Check out to the closed Facebook group. Crushing Iron Group is the one, and everything else that we do can be found on the website crushingiron.com. If you have specific questions about anything and everything, you can contact Mike, crushingiron@gmail.com. You can contact me directly for anything for me at c26coach@gmail.com.
Yep. If you have any questions about the yearly club membership for only $2.99 through January 1st, you can email me at crushingiron@gmail.com. And I'll answer your questions and get you rolling if that's what you want to do. If you want to be around cool people and get access to all of our training plans and get a custom 12-week plan up to your next race, your big race next year or whatever it is, crushingiron@gmail.com. I'm waiting. I am waiting.
Anxiously, for you. Patiently waiting. And we'll check you on Thursday.
Sounds good, buddy. Happy anniversary.
Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.